Hello, my kindergarten artists. Today we're going to be looking at some flowers. And we're going to be looking at flowers that were pictures that were painted by two different artists, Miss Georgia O'Keeffe and Mr. Vincent van Gogh. So first I want you to think about some things maybe you see outside. Flowers aren't the only things that we can find outside. And some things that we can find outside are really, really beautiful. So first I want you to just think for a moment, what kinds of things do you see when you go outside in nature? Some of the things we can find are rivers, like in this picture, or trees, leaves, flowers like we're going to focus on today, different animals and different plants. There's a lot of fantastic things out there. Now we're going to focus on flowers. Now these flowers here were painted by Miss Georgia O'Keeffe. And one thing she liked to do is she liked to zoom in when she would look at the flower and paint as close up to the flower as she could. She didn't like to paint far away pictures. She liked to get really up close with those flowers. She did the same thing here with these flowers, but these flowers she painted dark. They're called Jack in the Pulpit. So that's a fun name for these flowers. You can see how this one, you almost can't tell it's a flower because she zoomed in so close. It's all the way close in of this right here type. Now our other artist is Vincent van Gogh. And he also liked to paint flowers. They would both paint other things too, but we're focusing on the flowers they painted on. So this one here is by Miss Georgia O'Keeffe. Remember, she liked to zoom in on flowers. And this one is by our artist Van Gogh. First, I want you to just look at them. What are some things you see that are different about these two pictures? Some of the things my artist last year noticed that were different was that this one only has one flower and this one has lots of flowers. This flower is outside. This flower is inside and it's in a pot. This flower looks really bright and healthy, and these flowers look like they're starting to get old and die. So while Miss Georgia O'Keeffe liked to zoom in on flowers that were really bright and get super close to them, Van Gogh, sometimes he would get close to the flowers, but he sometimes just liked to look at flowers from far away too, or put them in pots. And he liked to look at flowers, what happened after they got old, when their petals would fall off and they would start to die. He thought that was really interesting how flowers would change over time. So here's some more sunflowers by Mr. Vincent van Gogh. Now we're going to think about what are the different parts of a flower. There are some things the flowers have that we need to keep in our mind when we go to make our art. First, flowers have the center part here. This is that middle part. And that's usually where you can find the seeds. That's where bees like to go to collect their pollen to make their honey. And then around the center, they have all of their beautiful, bright, colorful petals. And to make the flower stand up really tall, we have the stem. Some of my artists in the past have called that the green stick. It's kind of like a green stick, but it's not a stick from a tree. It's a stem. And then from the stem, we have the leaves. The leaves help collect the sunshine for the flower to grow. They also have something underneath the flower that goes deep into the ground. They have roots. So here's some pictures of sunflowers. So here you can see the same thing. We have the center part. All the way around it, we have the petals. Underneath, we have that stem. just kind of like the body of the flower. And then you have the leaves. And in that center part is where the seeds will grow. So what you're going to be doing today, and you're going to have two options, okay? You can either just draw a picture of a flower. You can use crayons or markers or colored pencils or paint, whatever you have, on a piece of paper or on the back of a box, and you can draw a picture of a flower. Or I'm going to have another video you can look at, and you can use different pieces of laundry like socks and shirts to make a picture of a flower. So that's a fun bonus challenge if you want it, okay? Otherwise, you can just draw a picture of a flower. Here's a picture I drew. And so when you draw your picture of the flower, you can draw just the flower by itself, or you can think, what do flowers need to be able to grow and live? So they need some sunshine, right? But they also need some clouds and rain because otherwise they'll get thirsty. Now they have some visitors. They have bees and butterflies like to come visit them. And when you draw the flower, remember you have that center part with seeds. You have your petals, a stem. Oh, you want to know can you figure out what I forgot to draw on my flower? I forgot to draw some leaves. I'm going to have to go back and add some leaves to my picture. There'll be grass. And remember those roots I told you about? Those go way down deep in the dirt and help find all the vitamins the flowers need in the ground. And sometimes in the ground, you'll find worms. So I want you to think, what all does a flower need to live? And go ahead and draw a picture. Or you can do the laundry flower challenge, or you could even do both. Make sure you have fun.